Hey everybody, it's hwsteele, and today is September 22nd, 2021, which makes this the fourth weekly video for the month of September 2021. And in this particular video, I want to show you something that might be familiar to some of you, and some of you will never have seen this before. But let's go ahead and bring up the price chart and you can see what I'm talking about here. This is Twitter. This is the daily chart of Twitter, and I chose Twitter because when we change this from a daily chart to a monthly chart right here, we can see all of the price history for Twitter in one screenshot right here. So let me zoom in here a little bit like this. Now, here's the thing. This is the tradingview.com charting platform. So by right-clicking on the chart right there, I can go to settings and I can click on lock price to bar ratio and set that to 1. Which means my chart is now set to a scale of 1 to 1, and it's locked in there so I can move it around. It's going to not change the scale. So when we're set to a 1 to 1 scale, that means the chart is squared. So if I draw a 45-degree angle, for instance, that angle is going to be a 1 by 1 angle, which I'm sure is quite familiar. The concept of that is probably quite familiar to a lot of you. So the first thing I'm going to do, we have Twitter here. This is the monthly chart. And we see that there are several areas where we have repetitive bottoms or repetitive tops. That just means double or triple bottoms, double or triple tops. Where the price of the bottom, it happens one bottom, a retracement upwards, and then a second bottom. In this particular instance, it happens right here. We get a double bottom. So we have bottoms that are one right after the other, and they're at approximately the same price. Right here we have a couple of tops, one right after the other, and they're at approximately the same price. So those are the ones I'm going to be working with right here, right now. And the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to draw a 45-degree angle, which of course, as I mentioned before, is equivalent to a 1 by 1 angle on this particular scaled chart, this square chart. And then I'm going to put this on the first bottom right here, just like this. Now, I can put it so that this is right here, but it's hard to tell exactly because of the way they draw their lines. Unfortunately, they put these bubbles on here, and it's hard to tell exactly where it is, but I can just push the angle a little bit down like that because it's on a square chart and the angle stays at the same slope its whole way, so I don't have to have the very beginning of the angle at the bottom right there. I can just pass over it like that and I get much more precise. Now that I have my first angle drawn on the first bottom, I'm going to draw a second angle at 60 degrees and I'm going to place that on the second bottom right here. And I'm just going to do the same thing like I did. Instead of putting the very beginning of the angle right here on the bottom, I'm going to put it a little bit below the bottom. And I'm going to do that so that I can get a more precise, accurate placement of the particular angle that I'm using. Now, two things you want to take note of. We have the 45-degree angle and the 60-degree angle. And we have the 45-degree angle first and the 60-degree angle second. In other words, we have two bottoms here. 45-degree angle goes on the first bottom, and you'll notice quite obviously the 45-degree angle is more shallow, not as steep as the 60-degree angle. So when you put this one first and this one second, they're going to cross eventually because this 60-degree angle is steeper than the 45-degree angle. And where they cross, we can anticipate that there could very well be a change in trend at that point. And we see that there was. And it kind of gives us an area in price also where we can maybe forecast that price would move to that area, although that's not anywhere nearly as precise as the timing of this particular methodology gives us. We can do the opposite right here. We had angles that were coming from bottoms, so we can use these tops right here. And I'm just going to draw another 45-degree angle really quickly. And I'm going to put that on the first top right here, just like we had that 45 on the first one over there. Draw a 60-degree angle right here, and this one is going to go on the second. And of course, because the 60-degree angle is steeper then the 45-degree angle it will eventually cross, since they're starting at approximately the same price area. And where they do cross, we see that we get a change in trend here. We have a bottom and then a sideways move for 3 months right there. It might not seem very significant on looking at the chart like this, but remember, these are monthly candles. So that's an entire season, a quarter of the year right there that the market's just moving sideways. So that's a significant change in trend right there. Now, if we look here, we see that the price, where these crossed over in price, was nowhere near where this consolidation happened right here. So while this one did a fairly decent job predicting price, this one did a miserable job predicting price. But we can look at this and realize that this is actually kind of a triple top right here, right? I mean, it's not as cleanly a double. This was obviously a double bottom right here, and this one not quite as much. It's not as clean as this one was. So that could be a contributing factor in the fact that this is not giving us a good price indication. But if we do, interestingly enough, move from here to here and measure this swing right here, and then just place it right here where the cross happens, we see that this consolidation zone kind of starts at that point right there. If we measure this other move right here, which is approximately the same as this, but not quite, it's a little bit less, and then use that one right there, we find that it's even a little bit closer to where this consolidation happened. So there are ways to help anticipate where the price might be if you don't have a particularly clean double top or double bottom that you're using in that particular instance. And you could do things like these. You could put this first top, the 45-degree angle up here. There we go. And then you'll see that the 60-degree angle never crosses this line because it's already under it. So you can see this, you can do it like that, but obviously it's not going to work for you. And that's all because of the angle and the significant difference in price. So that's pretty obvious right there. So anyway, this is just a little something that I wanted to show. Like I said, I think there's quite a few people out there who recognize where this comes from. But there's obviously some of you who don't and would probably find this helpful at some level, so I did present it. But one thing I did want to point out to you is the fact that, given the source of this 45-degree angle on this scale chart right here, this squared chart, is definitely a 1x1 angle, but this 60-degree angle is not a 1x2 angle. That's something that's very important to understand. A 1x2 angle is actually closer to a 65-degree angle than it is a 60-degree angle. Point is, this method right here is not actually using Gann angles. It's just using a 45-degree angle and a 60-degree angle. So anyway, with all that said, I hope everyone has a wonderful week ahead, and I will talk to you in next week's video, which will be the final week video, or the final weekly video for the month of September this year. So talk to you later.